Welcome to Enterprise Technology Leadership Summit. I am really here in Vegas. It took me a while to find a spot and get my laptop sorted, so apologies on the delay, but glad to be here. I'm hoping to connect with Andrew later today, so we will be signing books at the end of the day, and really excited for that. It's one of my favorite parts of the conference. And I just want to give everybody kind of a recap of this year, like what's happening at the conference. It's a little bit different, new venue. It's a little bit smaller. It's about 600 people, I think. And, you know, not a huge difference in content except for one major addition, which I'll get to. But day one, we heard from a lot of the folks who have been in the enterprise DevOps community for a while now, hearing their latest updates. Southwest Airlines, Nubank, Vanguard, John Deere, American Airlines. Another update from the world of Dora. They have been at it for 10 years now. So there was an update from Nathan Harvey about um, how that's evolved over time. I know I didn't catch the session, so I don't know if they released the new version of the Dora framework, but it's great to see him back here and lots of enthusiasm around Dora still. And I had a couple of really great conversations, with Chris from Liatrio, um, Chris Chapman from Liatrio, um, talking about this community, and how we make it thrive, and what kind of fosters that and enables that. And so the the piece that kind of came to mind with the history of DevOps Enterprise Summit, 10 years on that, and then now becoming the Enterprise Technology Leadership Summit. Um, it's an interesting time. I think it's a pivotal time. I think we need something that kind of launches the next 10 years and defines it. And I was trying to think about this, in that conversation. And I think the thing that kind of shaped the first 10 years of this journey was continuous delivery. The idea that you could go faster than you imagined in software development. And, the next 10 years has to be defined by something, equally dramatic and powerful and exciting, right? To bring people into the community, to kind of hand this off from generation to generation. And so thinking about what that is exciting. I would love to hear what you folks think it is, what that thing is. I think the obvious answer is what folks are talking about today. The entire program today at Enterprise Technology Leadership Summit is Gen AI. So what happens in enterprise technology when generative AI is everywhere and a part of every aspect of software development, operations, incident response, reliability, scaling, infrastructure, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm excited to kind of catch some of those ideas and hear what people have been working on. I had one of the really exciting conversations yesterday was around how generative AI can be used to understand our existing organizations and design better organizations, right? In factors like using social network analysis of connections between people and their communication patterns to understand, in an inverse Conway maneuver context, how do you organize people so that the friction between them, the friction between their collaboration, their interactions, their communication is minimized and that kind of throughput, the bandwidth is maximized, shortening the hops, right? Which brings me to what I'm really excited about and what I'll be talking about here. My paper with John Rouser from Cisco called Wiring for Flow. We're going to be speaking about that on Thursday after we run a workshop on flow engineering, Andrew and I. And if you haven't checked out Wiring for Flow, it's a paper that's been published. It's free to download through IT Revolution. And I'd love for you to take a look at it and give me your thoughts, because I think that it's really exciting to me to think about things that we have learned and developed and kind of mastered in the world of computer networking that are missing from organizational networks that I think will address some of the really huge challenges that we face in collaboration and scale and communication and getting work done. Moving work through an organization, getting the highest quality work. Right? You think about what happens in the internet. You fire a packet in on one end of the globe, and it gets to everywhere that it needs to go without falling apart, right? Without being compromised. And we need that level of integrity and consistency and performance in organizations, right? When we have an idea, when we send a message, when we have a strategy, when we have the kernel of something that might be valuable that we want to produce, how do we make sure that that gets all the way through every hop it needs to in order to make it to a customer? And then how do we get the communication back, the feedback on whether or not that was successful, whether we need to adjust, whether we need to pivot, whether we need to change course? I think that's really exciting. So that's what we'll be speaking about. Hopefully, getting some conversation back from folks about what they think of it, whether they think of it as a useful analogy or useful model for thinking about organizational work and communication. There's a couple really big ideas in there, and I'm really excited about sharing them with folks. So if you do get a chance to check out the paper and get in touch with us, if you have experience in networking and you think we're missing something that you know about and we should incorporate into the ideas that we're trying to package up and present and put into the context of organizations, that would be awesome to hear. Also, if you think about different ways that organizations mimic computer networks or you see patterns, that would be wonderful to hear about. And we'd love to be working on those ideas with anyone and everyone, because I think that there's some of these things that could be added in as practices, but they could also be tooling that supports these kind of enabling mechanisms, right, that help send information to the right person without overloading the network. How do you survive things like partitioning, right? How do you reliably maintain convergence on a network, basically alignment through the organization? So I get really excited thinking about this stuff because I think there's a lot we can learn. I think that our work inside of organizations is really messy, and sometimes that mess is really great, right? Sometimes wonderful things happen because it's a little chaotic and serendipitous. We run into people, we have water cooler conversations, but a lot of the time, we're just trying to get things done, and it takes so long, and it's so complicated, and it's so error prone. So I'm going to be investing a little bit further in this space and learning from a bunch of folks. I'm hoping to have a bunch of conversations with folks who know way more than me about networking and organizations and communication, to try and shore up my knowledge in this area and then incorporate that into follow-up material where we dive a little bit deeper. We've already run into folks who uh, do things like organizational network analysis, um, applying graph theory to networks and organizations. And then there's also something I hadn't heard of before called social network analysis, which I think is a more social dynamic aspect of organizational network analysis. I just heard about that yesterday for the first time. So maybe that's something that we kind of dig into. So you know, this is the process. The process is very open. It's very much in front of everybody in public. That's how I like to work. So if you have ideas, if you have feedback, if we're totally in the wrong direction, let us know. Let me know, and you could be contributing to this work that I found a lot of value in, and I think could be very helpful for folks who are grappling with large scale organizational challenges with workflow. Um, yeah, so what I'm going to do is get back to the conference so I can tell you more about what happens because I missed a lot of the sessions yesterday, catching up on work. But I'm hoping to catch a lot of this Gen AI content today and think about how that could factor into flow engineering, how it could factor into organizational design and workflow. And I will be reporting back. So hopefully next session we can do a little bit of a recap, pick up from the the learnings that I have yet to collect at the event, and I will be sharing all that with you as we go forward. So if you're watching this and you're here, I hope to run into you. If you missed it this year and this has enticed you to come next year, I hope you do. I think it's a wonderful conference, and I'm always excited to come here and learn and just connect with folks who are in all these different spaces, doing all kinds of different things, and hopefully unlocking that next 10 years. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to find out what is the next 10-year quantum leap that's really going to raise the tide and raise the bar for everybody uh, who's been doing all the things, checking all the boxes, and maybe is looking for uh, the next order of magnitude improvement. So if I find it, I'll let you know. Um, I will I will be sharing what I find on LinkedIn, and I hope to hear from you what you're seeing if you're following along, and if you catch any of the recordings. Let me know if there's anything that you get really excited about, especially in the world of Gen AI, because I feel like I'm really just on the shores of that right now. I'd like to dip my toes further, and so tell me what I should be looking at. Until next time, thank you for joining us again, and hope to see you